In this video, I'm going to fix a leak that I'm having on the back of the engine, and also install, this is not installed yet, I'm gonna install the new oil feed line. There you go. I'm just test fitting here to see what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to install the new oil feed line, which I believe that I have from. Alright, so this is the line I had. I took it out from the back of the engine. It was super easy to install because the engine was out of the car. And you know, everything is easy, but you know, when the engine is in the car, things change. Because now you don't have space, everything is tight and all that stuff. So I was able to remove this. My first problem was, if you see here, this was going behind the engine and this was going on top of my turbo. And if you look at my turbo, and I'm going to unplug this new one, I'm going to plug this old one. So then you see, that was one of the problems, right? See how high it goes? So this was going behind the engine and all that stuff, right? So it was going like something like this, but from that side. So I couldn't put my hood on, because if I put my hood on, this was going to squish this oil line, and two problems. I was going to touch the hood, and second problem is eventually that was going to get kinked. So that was one. And the other problem is it was leaking from the back of the engine. So I don't know, there is a block like this in there. It's a 5/8. Actually, someone just asked me from on Instagram what is the size I'm using, and yes, it is 5/8 because the larger one, I have the sensor on top, one is tapped and the other one was this thing here. Problem now is I got a new line and I was trying to run all of this on the back and tight everything better and all that stuff. I can't manage to put this back in there and twist it, because one side, that's the side goes in the turbo, it turns. This is the bay line, okay? And the other side does not turn. It's hard. So, which means you gotta put this in there, which is in the block behind the engine, and you need to turn the whole thing like this. So it's easy for me to do this here right now, and then it works. But behind the engine, first I cannot align this right on top of my square in there. And second, this line is not straight, so how can I do this here? It's just not practical. So I am going to change my approach, and if you're trying to do the same thing, I hope this video helps you. Okay, so this is the back of my engine. See that little sensor down there? That's my oil pressure sensor, and then that's the block. It's impossible to reach there. Even to take that block out of there is like a pain in the butt. So I'll manage to take that out of there, but you should consider, sorry I'm moving my camera so you can see where I am. You should consider like getting something like this. That's some people call oil sandwich, or let me take my hand out of there. There you go. It's a sandwich that goes between your oil base on the engine, oil adapter, into the actual filter, right? So you have the filter would connect somewhere, you put this here in between. I'm using this already, and this has a thermostat, so it just opens and closes as it needs. But in this hole in here, it actually works 100% of the time. So what I'm thinking now is I'm going to remove this sensor out of here. This sensor is another oil pressure sensor that sends information to my gauge inside the car. So I'm going to remove the sensor out of here, put a block sensor into the block, my oil feed, which you can see that's going down here somewhere. There's this line there. I'm gonna go down there and tap into the square, and that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I'm getting the oil thing here so I can, just in case, it will definitely have oil in there, but I mean most of the oil should be in the oil pan right now. I never took the filter before removing the wow. Alright, let me see how much mess. Oh wow, the oil looks great. Alright, so we're gonna work with this now. So one thing I can see right out of the bat is I squeeze too much the gaskets. Look at that. It looks like crap already. So good thing I took it out. So when you are doing this kind of stuff, it's important to clean the old tape or gasket or whatever you put in there. So you see here I'm trying to get stuff out. You can use some picker stuff or you can wash it. I don't know. Do whatever you gotta do to take that out of there. Alright. So there is a kind of Teflon tape that is fuel resistant, and so if you look and read you can read here, but I'll put in the description. So this is going to screw this, but it's going to go this way, which means this is going to be like this. I'm going to put a lot. There we go. Oh, my finger. Dude, the code is painful. Holy. Both sides. So I'm going to put this in there. And the block. And it must be way smaller, and get a socket. There you go. I'm gonna get that little socket. You see, when there already, I'm gonna flip it over. Sorry, it is super cold here, and yes, I am cold. There you go. Yeah, I don't want. There's no mercy in here. Yep. So plugged. Beautiful. So this is nice and tight. Now the block. So I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna hold this in here. Block I can kind of turn in my hand, but that's the problem I have behind the car. There's no space to turn it. So that's it. That's it here. I don't need to tighten anymore. I need to leave it a little more so when I put on the car I can kind of twist and put where I want to. Another thing is I have a set of gaskets to have all the gaskets, the O-rings I need. So I got a new O-ring, I'm gonna put it in there. I think it is R12. Alright, so let's do our quick test fitting. We are going to put this in here, twist it. Wow, there you go. So this line just gotta twist a little more. So this is, I need to flip it probably another 90 degrees. I could also remove and put this in here and just worry about this guy for now, right? Put my turbo thing in here, and if it works, I have two ports and they are working beautifully and good to go. So I gotta rotate this tiny bit though, so I'm gonna take back to the bench, rotate a few degrees this way, and then we're gonna risk putting the oil pressure sender to the gauge, which is this guy, on that port. Worst that's gonna happen is we're gonna reach 0. I am going to, this line can run here or here, and I think on the side is better. So what I need to do, look how weird this is. You gotta do like this and get it started. Oh, out of the way. And then you gotta keep twisting the line. Look at that. So this was impossible to do on the back of the engine. I think it's a 14 millimeter. I have a 15 in hand, which might or might not work. It works a little bit. I'll need a 14 to tighten that up though. The whole hose is moving, but it is working. So alright, there you go. We did that, and put this in here, and now I have the last hole, which I have the plug for it. Wait for it. I lost that. I'm gonna dry all of this because I think it's important to know later on if it's dripping or not. So you don't want to have old oil and keep thinking, oh, is it dripping? So there you go. Yeah, that looks super clean. Everything is super tight. Okay, yeah, there you go. I don't need any further. Go any further, and now we gotta get this here and put this line all the way up and call it good. So I guess one of the best acquisitions I've done was getting these tools here. I got those because I was wrapping my BMW and I needed to do some stuff, and here and there I always need it, but I never bought it because it was like, I don't want to spend. It was super cheap, but I just didn't want to do it until I did it. And just now, removing the old tape from here, it was so easy. But anyway, there you go. So there we have it. Okay, let me get the where before. Alright, so we got that in here, and here. There you go. Alright, so I got a 11/16, and that's it. You sit right in there. I'm not sure if this is kinking or something, but everything is tight. Down there is tight. Finally everything is aligned, and I don't think I'll have a problem. Closing the hood right now. I mean, except for this big thing, this is not gonna be an issue. So 90 degree, that's something that we were missing before. We need to run the carb. It's late. And then you have this coming down here around the oil pan, which it doesn't quite matter, right? Which doesn't quite matter. I could technically move that thing a little more and get that in here, but I don't think I'm gonna mess with it right now. Yeah, see, there you go. So I could, just to take away from the oil pan and hide a little bit, I could remove, but that's going to be a pain in the ass again, because I can remove from the bottom, I need to remove from the top and all that stuff. So I might need to take the filter, flip it this way, and have that cable be nice and tucked right in there. Talking about here. So it's going to be very, very nice. I'm going to do that. I think for now this is good. So I'll revert the sensor that is on the back that I showed in the beginning of this video. I'm going to revert that to the original state, and yeah, so we shouldn't have that splashing oil on the back anymore. Much easier to control down there. Yeah, so if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Hit the button subscribing here, hit the little bell. I have some more stuff coming up. Melted the radiator fan, that's my next video, and that should be it. I mean, once those things are fixed, I can take this car to Chaz, which is the guy that made this downpipe in here, and he's gonna tune it for me. Hopefully it's gonna be nice. And all right, hit the like button. You know the drill, right? Like, share, comment, blah blah blah. Hit the subscribe button. Do not forget to check out my store. There's a bunch of cool merch in there. I need to do some winter stuff since the winter's here. I'm freezing right now, but it doesn't matter, and I'll see you on the next video.
Look past my face. See status. I'm eating some McDonald's.